Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tearing into the corporate strategy, the financials, and really the massive platform of a huge player in India's quick commerce and food delivery space.
And we have a fantastic set of sources to work with.
We do. We're using a really deep stack of material, but it's highlighted by this very detailed corporate presentation from late 2025. It basically maps out their whole pathway.
That's right. And so our mission today is to go, way beyond just the delivery notification sound. We really want to uncover the structural decisions that dictate how this massive company, they call themselves a new age consumer-first tech company,
Right.
how they plan to solve that defining problem of modern e-commerce, achieving that breakneck growth you need while finally locking down sustainable profitability.
And we're really zeroing in on their dual engine approach, right? This tension between food delivery and quick commerce.
Exactly.
And for you, the learner, this is where it all gets fascinating. We are pulling back the curtain on the metrics that define this whole race for unparalleled convenience for the urban consumer.
It's all about convenience.
We'll see exactly how they're using technology, logistics, and just ruthless innovation, not just to drop off a delivery 10 minutes faster, but to aggressively capture and expand their share of your wallet
A bigger and bigger share.
across multiple daily needs. It's a high capital, incredibly complex game of integration.
I mean, the food delivery app at this point is just,
Wildly inaccurate. Yeah. The strategy is built around creating this entire hyper-local ecosystem. It's designed to, as they put it, elevate the quality of life for their users.
so what does that complexity actually look like on the ground?
It looks massive, and it's highly diversified. When we break down their B2C gross order value, or GOV, which is just the total value of everything ordered, we see it split into a few major segments.
Okay.
The obvious one, the original pillar, is food delivery. That's the engine that got them started.
And the second pillar, the one that's really dominating the conversation now, that would be Instamart, their quick commerce vertical. So groceries, household items delivered in minutes, but the platform goes deeper than that.
Right.
The third segment is out-of-home consumption. This includes dine out for restaurant reservations and payments and scenes for events.
So they're not just focused on getting food to you, but also on how you interact with food and leisure outside the home.
Precisely. And they don't even stop there.
They have other specialized verticals too, don't they?
Exactly. You've got other hyperlocal services like Genie for pickup and drop tasks, and then these burgeoning online shopping verticals they call minis and mall.
So the real intention here is to cover every single high-frequency need a consumer might have.
That's the goal, to establish this unparalleled connection with the urban buyer.
That sounds incredibly complex to manage. I mean, the logistics must be a nightmare. What makes it all actually stick together?
Well, it's all supported by this integrated architecture. You've got 4 key pillars: world-class analytics, centralized fulfillment, a modular tech stack so they can spin up new features pretty cheaply, and maybe the most important part,
The membership program.
a membership program, SWIGGY One. That's the glue. It's the primary tool that drives adoption and its powerful cross-pollination across all the services. It makes it financially painful for you to leave the ecosystem.
Let's talk about the potential market here, because the scale they're at, even now, it just suggests there's so much room to grow.
It is absolutely staggering. I mean, look at the user numbers from Q2 of FY26. They reported an average of 18 million monthly transacting users, MTU,
18 million active buyers a month.
per month. Now compare that to their total ever transacted users, or ETU, which is somewhere around 128 million.
That's a huge gap.
Yeah.
So many more people have used the service at some point than are currently active.
Precisely. That 110 million plus gap between the monthly users and the people who've used the app at least once, that represents a tremendous untapped resource.
So their growth strategy isn't just about finding new people.
No, not at all. It's primarily about figuring out which service, what price point, or which innovation can successfully reactivate that huge established user base and just get them more engaged.
Okay, let's pivot to the core of their financial strategy, these two engines. We'll start with the original business, food delivery, which the presentation explicitly calls the profit engine.
Yeah, driving growth, margin expansion, and sustained cash generation. That's the direct quote.
It really sounds like they've mastered this segment.
Oh, they absolutely have. And what's fascinating here is the sheer financial muscle this one segment provides. In Q2 FY26, food delivery was still their largest segment.
By how much?
It accounted for 51% of their total B2C GOV. But the critical number is profitability. They achieved an annualized adjusted EBITDA for this business of, approximately INR 960 crore in Q2 FY26.
INR 960 crore. That is a serious chunk of money. To put that in perspective, that's roughly, what, $115 million a year in adjusted operating profit.
Exactly. This isn't just about turning a small profit. This is the structural cash buffer that's funding everything else they're doing.
So how did they get there?
Through strong operating leverage. This is the textbook example of how a tech platform is supposed to scale.
Okay, so unpack that for us using their data.
So if we look at that 2-year window, from Q2 FY24 to Q2 FY26, their gross order value grew by a very healthy 44%. But their adjusted revenue, the money they actually keep, grew by nearly 97%.
Almost double.
Almost double. Now here's the kicker. During that same period, their foundational fixed costs, what they call below contribution expenses.
The servers, the core staff, all that.
Right. Those costs grew by a tiny 3.9%.
So sales almost doubled, but the fixed infrastructure costs barely moved.
Correct. When you double your income while your fixed costs stay flat, you just unlock these huge margins. Every new order costs them fractionally less to service than the one before. They are essentially printing cash on the margin at this point.
That kind of discipline is so powerful. I also noticed they're using advertising to stabilize those margins, which seems like a critical buffer.
It's a very smart move. Ad revenue now contributes over 4% of GOV.
Yeah.
So when competitors are slashing prices or offering crazy discounts, that ad revenue helps boost profitability and just mitigates that pressure. It's a stable revenue stream.
But is this sustainable? I mean, is this profitability coming from just squeezing the restaurants or the delivery partners?
The sources suggest they're balancing it through really rigorous segmentation. They have affordable meal options like their 99 store concept in over 500 cities, but they also target office dining with concepts like Desk Eats, covering thousands of tech parks.
So they're balancing the average order value.
Exactly. Premium, affordable, and institutional dining. It keeps the volume high.
And for the consumer, what's the cost been to them?
Remarkably stable. The total cost of service, so the delivery fee, platform fee, membership fee, all of it, has stayed in this pretty tight range, about 5% to 6% of the AOV.
That has to be a strategic decision.
It is. It ensures their pursuit of profitability doesn't choke off the demand and growth in their most established segment. Okay, so now we shift gears completely to the company's other engine, quick commerce, or Instamart.
Right. If food delivery is the calm, reliable profit machine,
Instamart is the high-octane growth engine, just burning capital to capture market share.
and the growth rate here is explosive. I mean, the numbers are kind of hard to believe.
They are. In Q2 FY26, Instamart's GOV growth accelerated to over 100% year over year.
100%. So that means quick commerce now accounts for, what, 42% of the total GOV? It's quickly closing in on food delivery.
It's closing the gap very fast. And the ambition is clear. They want to build India's everything store delivered in minutes. Instamart has ballooned its selection to over 30,000 SKUs.
And they're pushing hard into those non-grocery categories, right? The high-margin stuff.
Aggressively. Home and kitchen, audio electronics, wearables. They're moving far beyond just, emergency snacks or a carton of milk.
This is where that physical logistics complexity just explodes, that speed. They're down to, what, 13 minutes for delivery?
Approximately 13 minutes, yeah. And that requires an enormous physical footprint. It just has to.
So what does that look like?
It looked like 1,102 dark stores across 128 cities. And critically, they're upgrading their infrastructure to these larger facilities they call megapods, which can handle twice the throughput.
Over 1,000 warehouses. I mean, that kind of massive upfront investment explains why this vertical needs so much capital.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the financial elephant in the room. Quick commerce is just known for burning cash, so what's the turnaround story for Instamart?
Well, the total adjusted EBITDA loss is still substantial, but the trajectory is positive. The loss actually reduced quarter over quarter in Q2 FY26.
Okay, so it's getting smaller.
Right. And more telling is the improvement in efficiency. Their contribution margin improved by about 300 basis points over just 2 quarters. It's now at negative 2.6%.
Wait, okay, negative 2.6% still sounds like they're losing money on every sale. Why is that a good sign?
Because it means they're losing less money, and very quickly. Negative 2.6% means for every $100 they sell, they're only losing $2.60 on the cost of the goods and the delivery. They're getting so close to contribution margin break even.
So once they hit that, they've covered their variable costs. Then it's just about tackling the fixed costs of the dark stores.
That's the whole game, and the cohort analysis supports this. Once a user adopts Instamart, they tend to stick around and spend more.
They're expanding their wallet share.
Absolutely. The GOV per user increased 15% quarter over quarter. It's now at roughly INR 1,150 per month. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Capture a larger and larger share of a household spending over time.
This whole expansion, all the capital burn, it leads us right to their financial foundation. They've been very successful at raising money, a big IPO in late 2024, and then a massive QIP in late 2025.
And a QIP is just a fast way for a listed company to raise money from big institutional investors.
And these rounds have given them a huge buffer.
A massive buffer. Their total cash position, even after all this spending, is nearly 17,000 crore. That's including some planned asset sales.
17,000 crore. That's a huge war chest. But the sources noted that this cash buffer basically just matches their competitors' reserves. So are they just locked in a parity battle?
That is the core tension, isn't it? This capital is framed as long-term growth capital. For Instamart, for tech, for brand building. It signals they can sustain the fight.
But
the news analysis is pretty clear that Instamart faces incredibly intense competition. They noted rivals like Plinkit have actually outpaced them in some recent revenue and GOV measurements.
which is precisely why that June 2026 deadline is so important.
It defines their immediate future. They've made this explicit public target of hitting contribution margin break-even for Instamart by June 2026.
And that whole profitability roadmap is basically propped up by the food delivery business.
Entirely. It's the financial high-wire act they're performing. Hitting that target validates the whole dual-engine strategy.
And the platform's real strength comes from that user overlap, doesn't it? The overall growth is accelerating because the mix is shifting to quick commerce, but the stickiness comes from people using multiple services.
It's platform synergy, plain and simple. The number of users using more than one service, food delivery, Instamart, Dine Out, it stood at almost 36% of their monthly users in Q2 FY26.
That's a lot.
It is. And that cross-pollination is extremely hard for a single vertical competitor to replicate. And, we can't overlook the quiet success of that out-of-home segment. Dine Out and Events hit profitability back in Q4 FY25, and they've stayed profitable for 3 straight quarters.
With pretty decent growth, too.
Yeah, 50% plus year-over-year GOV growth. Even the smaller segments are delivering value now.
Moving to innovation. Let's talk about the specific tools they're using to drive this convenience. I mean, speed is obviously critical.
Speed is paramount, but it has to be applied strategically. You see things like Bolt 10-minute food delivery, which is now live in over 700 cities.
And it accounts for what, 1 in 10 orders already?
A significant chunk, yeah. But innovation isn't just about speed. It's also about value. And it's about basket size.
So how are they tackling value perception?
Through initiatives like MaxSaver and the Quick India movement, or QIM, they're designed to build larger baskets, to increase the perception of value, and to prove that quick commerce isn't just for emergencies. It can be for your weekly stock-up, too.
And that convenience is just so deeply integrated. The membership, the co-branded credit card, putting scenes right into the main app. It makes the platform feel almost inescapable.
Which brings up an important point about responsible growth. They're not just chasing volume. Their corporate goals have these explicit sustainability targets for 2030.
And they're making real progress.
Demonstrable progress.
Yeah.
They're moving toward fleet electrification, noting a 7-fold growth in their EV fleet over the last year through partnerships.
And they've found ways to align that with operational efficiency, which is the genius of scale, this eco-saver mode.
Right, the opt-in batching of orders. That's already resulted in over 30 million low-emission deliveries. They've avoided over 500 tons of CO2 emissions.
It's a huge win, environmentally and operationally.
And their community efforts are part of this narrative, too. SWIGGY Skills, which helps empower delivery partners, and recognizing over 50,000 women-led restaurants through She the Change. It's about building a robust ecosystem, not just a fast delivery service.
So if we step back, look at the whole picture, the primary tension is still crystal clear. The established, profitable food delivery segment is the financial backbone.
No question.
And Instamart's breakneck growth is fueling the future of the platform, but hitting that June 2026 profitability target is absolutely crucial, especially with the competition and the sheer capital required to sustain that dark store network.
Right. They've successfully pioneered 2 enormous consumer internet categories in India, food delivery and quick commerce, and integrated them. The central narrative now is the stress test. Is the profitability of food delivery robust enough to sustain that final resource-intensive push to make quick commerce the second equally profitable engine?
Which brings us to the core takeaway for you, the learner. Hyperlocal success in this market isn't just about speed. It's not even about variety. It's about engineering an integrated ecosystem that locks you in through cross-pollination and superior value across all your daily missions.
It required huge upfront capital.
Huge capital. But once that platform hits critical scale, the potential for operating leverage, which we saw so clearly in the food delivery numbers, becomes truly transformative. And a final provocative thought for you to mull over. We saw that Instamart's largest dark stores, those high-capacity megapods, are currently running at roughly 50% of their average capacity. If maximizing that crucial operating leverage hinges on filling the other 50%, what specific consumer behavior shift beyond basic groceries will be the most lucrative to target next? Is it specialized office lunches, high-margin electronics, or some entirely new hyper-local category they haven't even launched yet?